There are always beings endowed with special power, chosen by the gods to determine the fate of the world.
We stepped into the, we dove into the dark waters with Risen 2 here in Deep Silver's room at GDC 2012, where we met out with Pete here, who's gonna tell us a little bit, because I played Risen 2 recently, and I gotta say, I feel like I've grown a little bit soft playing games like Skyrim, for instance, and you know they hold you in the hand quite a lot, and they show you what to do. And when I started playing Risen 2, it took me about 5 minutes to get instantly killed by a trap or something like that. It's a different style of RPG than what most RPGs are these days.
Absolutely. I mean, with Risen 2, we really want to show people that it's a traditional RPG. It's putting the role playing back in RPG. I mean, with that, I mean, it's there is a learning curve for sure with the game, but we've learned our lessons from Risen 1, where it was incredibly difficult for a lot of the time, and especially at the start, where players weren't really taught the skills that they needed to learn, and they could basically roam anywhere from the very beginning and get their ass kicked almost immediately as well. Although in Risen 2, we've definitely addressed that more so from at the beginning of the game. So where we dropped you in last week was a bit in the middle already. This time you start off the game, it's a bit more structured in the beginning. So you're taught the different moves. The story is laid out more, and then gradually you open up the second island and you can completely roam there, and then afterwards as you've learned more skills, then you actually get your own ship and you can head out into the world, and then you're ready to fight. But for sure, Risen doesn't like to put waypoints all over the screen and icons here and there. It's definitely a conscious decision by the developer to put you in the shoes of the player and have you really think about what you have to do next. And when you're talking to the NPCs, you really have to pay attention to what they say and find the clues. And of course, we've given you some help there as well along the way, so that when you talk to an NPC, you'll have a transcript of the conversation in the menu as well, just so you can say what did he say? What did he say? Turn right at the beach, or what? So there's lots of different things, but it's all by bringing you into the game and really rewarding you for the challenge as well.
And not just going to that glowing, blinking arrow all the time and progressing the game that way. But something that I found fascinating when I played it, and I only got to see it a little bit and sort of started on that route, was the Voodoo. And it plays an important part, and it really changes a lot of the way you interact with characters and how you can solve different missions in the game, and it opens up a lot of avenues that you might not have done in other RPGs before. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, and Voodoo is only one of the choices that you have. So Risen is very much about choice and consequences. So as you mentioned, you can do different quests in different ways. So for one, if you have learned Voodoo, so it's completely optional as well, of course, for the player. If they choose to ally themselves with the natives faction, then they can learn Voodoo at the expense of not being able to specialize further in firearms. But of course, they do have the choice to learn firearms as well, and turn their back on Voodoo as well. And how this works then in a day-to-day situation for the player when they're going around the world is, it basically opens up new options. So you can take over a commander of a ship and tell the troops to get off the ship, or you can go in there. If your character's leveled up enough and if you're a bit of a badass, you can just actually go in and fight them as well. But the choices are definitely there, and it's not just with Voodoo; it's with other skills as well. If the player can learn to increase their silver tongue skill, they can persuade people to open a door, or they'll fight them, or they can actually intimidate people, and they can actually use different items as well that will complement these skills. So if they wear a fancy jacket, they're more likely to be able to persuade people with their silver tongue, so that adds to their silver tongue skill as well. So there's lots and lots of times where you'll be able to experiment with the game world and really just try out a few different things, and and you'll be surprised with some of the results that you'll get. One good example is you have a choice of rescuing someone from a prison. You can use Voodoo to take over the guard or you can steal to get the key. Or there's a third option where there's a cannon pointed in the direction of the prison. And most games would probably just not really let you do anything with the cannon, but in Risen we like to reward the player for experimenting, and you can definitely try and use that cannon and see what happens as well. So there's always a very obvious approach, but something that you maybe don't think about immediately. You're like, oh yeah, why don't I try that? That could be cool, and then it works, and it's kind of a cool thing to experience.
So obviously an important part of it is the pirate theme, and I think you're really taking that to the extreme with all the piratey things you can do, and it's not just about bringing back health with rum or using your parrot to distract things, but there's like a ton of things that are really in tune with the pirate theme, and could you talk us through some of that, and perhaps you have a favorite pirate thing that you can do in the game?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's definitely, it's not just about an RPG with a lick of paint over it. Now it's not a potion anymore. Now it's rum. So yeah, there's a very core element of piratiness to the game, and that just doesn't go with using the parrot to distract enemies or pulling a pistol out in the middle of a fight. It goes deeper. The characters are very gritty. They're pirate-like. They swear a lot. Most of the guys are pretty much drunk all the time, which I guess is quite accurate. And how they talk, and the combat itself, that you've got the choice to swashbuckle with sabers, like slashing weapons, or pointing weapons, thrusting weapons like epées. And there's definitely a lot of that there. A lot of people have watched, films like Pirates of the Caribbean, and of course, and old classic Errol Flynn movies, where you can actually, where you can see the swashbuckling action, like ching, 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 clinging and clanging. But then, because they're pirates, of course, they can pull out a pistol in the middle of a fight dirty. But then, of course, we've got the other side of it with the firearms. And then, moreover from combat, of course, there's a lot of pirateness, like taking part in a drinking competition to win a treasure map, perhaps. We got lots of treasure maps in the game, and you can actually use those, and X marks the spot and dig up some treasure, and it's very important. Gold is very important in Risen, and it ties to how the player develops himself as well. So that really emphasizes the fact that pirates care a lot about booty and gold. And there's loads of other elements as well. You get your own ship, you have your crew, you can choose which of the members that you want to bring out with you. And we've got some real typical pirate-like people there as well, really piratey characters like Captain Steelbeard, who's a real quintessential pirate type. So and there's more examples as well, Chris. You're gonna get into fights, you're gonna argue, you can make your own rum, and it just continues. I mean, it's definitely, a lot of gamers have been waiting for a pirate RPG, real deep and meaty experience where you can actually be a pirate and do all the cool stuff as a pirate, and Risen 2 is definitely delivering there.
So I think we've touched a little bit on how you actually advance your skills and crafting and things like that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Yeah,
sure. I mean, Risen's takes a different approach to character progression. So you have 5 base attributes, and you can choose to completely level out one of those, or pick and choose. So they're blades, firearms, cunning, which is basically thievery and being a sneaky type, toughness, which is to make your character harder and more of a tank style character, who can intimidate people as well. That plays into that, and voodoo as well. And they break down further into 3 talents each. So let's say you wanted to look at blades, for example. You can choose to specialize in slashing weapons, piercing, thrusting weapons, or throwing weapons like spears and throwing knives. And then if you want to learn skills in Risen, you actually have to talk to NPCs. There's like sword masters out there who'll teach you new moves, or will teach you how to actually put together a new weapon, how to forge your own weapons as well. And also lots of perks. Basically, they're like perks where you can specialize maybe only in slashing weapons to add more points into that direction. Or as like I mentioned, you have different moves and lots of different things that you can make your own character. And how it works with talking to NPCs is that you're actually, your relationship with them and, what faction you're with will tie into that. So, the choices you've made will limit you to which trainers that you can speak to. And in some cases, you'll need to do something as well for the trainer before before you earn the right to be trained by him as well. So, it actually plays a lot to the choices you make will come into the kind of character you build.
And here at GDC, you're showing off something a little bit new. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, here at GDC we're showing off the one of our DLCs that we're offering as a pre-order bonus. So anyone who pre-orders Risen 2 will receive the Treasure Isle DLC. And what we're looking at is we're just taking a look around the island. It's a brand new island for players to explore, and it's a whole new quest line as well. So the quest will actually take players back to some locations from the main game. So to a few different islands to put some clues together in order to find the treasure of Captain Steelbeard, and it culminates with the user, with the player actually going to Treasure Isle and following the clues that they have there, because the captain's left some traps around, and it's very, very traditional pirate style, where you're looking at the map and you're reading clues like turn left at the totem pole or go east after here, and it really brings you into the whole pirate effect more. And of course the loot that you get at the end of it is really it's really worth it as well for the player to discover. So that's completely free for anyone who pre-orders Risen 2 Dark Waters.
And is that sort of a quest that's meant to, you can do that in the early part of the game, or is it free as soon as you get your ship? Or
exactly, as soon as you get your ship and the ability to travel to the different islands, then you can actually take part in this DLC. You don't have to wait till the end of the game, so you can do it at any time. It's actually maybe a good idea to do it as soon as you can, because there are some really useful items, let's say, that can help make your journey a little bit easier as well. But it's completely up to players what way they want to do it.
All right. And do you have any sort of guesstimate on the date yet, or when are you planning to bring it out?
So we're looking at an April 27th release on PC, and on consoles we're looking at the end of May.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much.